A true warrior knows hardship, knows struggle, challenge, adversary. That feeling when we are powerless, when we are not good enough. We all face it. We do. A warrior knows. Struggle is a part of nature, and we will meet it one day. The best of us know this, and the best of us know that we must eventually face our struggle if we are to ascend to our next level, if we are to grow. The best of us know this. The best of us know. When there are hard times, we hope that life gets easier. But the truth is that we can only get stronger. Strong, like those heroes we admire. Strong, like those who do well. Strong, like a warrior. We all have that strength within us. That inner strength that can help us rise to the challenge. Somewhere deep inside, we know that fire exists. But how do we find it? To unlock that inner potential, that has always been my goal. To find that power and to help those who seek my guidance. In my past life, I had to be a warrior. And today, the lessons of the past help me stand strong. Would it hurt to listen to a warrior? Would it hurt to listen to the things that he has learned? Would it hurt for us to talk? Today, I present to you the thoughts of a past life warrior. I know not many of us understand the idea of a past life. Some of us don't believe it. We don't need to believe it. Just for now, let's just make it part of my story. Because that's how I relate to that spirit, that warrior spirit. That spirit that encourages me, that drives me to keep trying, to keep living, to keep doing all I can to overcome whatever life throws at me. Many who know me will probably tell you that I'm one of the mightiest people they've ever met. Not because I'm the most physically strong, or because I'm the fastest, or I have the best prowess on the battlefield or anything. But they just know when they talk about me, they know I'm the person that will live through any hardship or any struggle that comes my way. And whether this makes sense or not, I give a lot of that inner strength. A lot of the reason why I get through is due to my past life. And I know in my past life, I was a warrior. I don't know how to explain it. It's just when I see stories of people having to be strong to overcome all their adversaries. I relate to that. When I see stories of heroes finding triumph in war and in struggle, I relate to that. When I see people, just the average person, overcome a simple hardship, I relate to that. I look at them and I say, that's my kinsmen. Those are my family, my brothers, my sisters. And we've all been through those experiences. So I understand them. And I salute them. I'm proud of them. That's one way that I really connect with that warrior spirit within me. It's when like I said, when I witness people overcome their struggles, I relate to that. I understand that. Because I know what strength it requires to push on, to keep going, and to eventually reach that triumph. Because that point, when you're about to reach triumph, that's usually when things are the hardest. I'm not going to say it's always the hardest, because a lot of the time you could actually just reach that triumph and you don't even realize it. You don't realize it because you're just working harder, or you're getting tougher, you're getting stronger, and in the next moment, you know you have to be a bit more tough, a little more resilient, a little more durable, because the challenges keep piling on. And then the next moment, you know you have to be just a little bit more tougher, that little bit more strong. And then for some reason, even though you made yourself that little bit much more stronger, little bit much more tougher and resilient, you realize the battle is won and you've overcome it. So sometimes it's hard to tell, but victories are sometimes hard to notice. That's a dangerous point though, because sometimes a lot of us get addicted to the struggle. As long as we keep that habit in balance, then yeah, we will have fulfillment. But some of us go a bit too hard, a bit too far. And they're usually the stories we don't hear about. There are the select few, of course, that we hear that, you know, they always, how do I say this? They always struggle to go harder, to become better, to grow stronger, and they've got that competitive edge. And they're always striving, thriving to become better. There are those few stories like, like Michael Jordan. He's always trying to be the best. Yeah, there are those few stories, those few exceptions. But a lot of the other ones, where that thirst for struggle has gone a bit too far, we don't usually glorify those. We usually dismiss those as the sad story of someone who's lived a life of struggle. But we're not here to talk about victory, triumph, and all that. We're here to talk about that warrior spirit, that strength that I learned how to harness and utilize a very long time ago. Many who know me know that I've faced some pretty hard struggles, even in my younger years, even when I was just a child. Of course, the struggles may not have been as drastic and deadly as many others out there. I don't want to say that my struggle was the worst. No way. Everyone has a struggle. Everyone has a hardship. And everyone can find a way through. But I'm not here to compare who struggles harder or worse or who's gone through more. Because in the end, if that's your environment, you will be more acclimated to whatever you have to face in that environment. You'll be more tolerant, more used to what you have to face. And in the end, all you'll need to do is bring out that inner drive, that inner passion, that inner fire to take you through, to make you take that next step until you reach triumph and victory. But like I was saying, I have faced some pretty hard struggles, some triumph. I don't know. Honestly, when I talk about it with other people, they look at me and they shake their head. They say, wow, this guy, he's a bit of a lost one. He's a bit of a... Is he serious? Does he not understand what he went through? Because when I tell them about it and how I feel about what I went through, I just shrug my shoulders and I say, I don't know. It was nothing. It's just another day. Because every time I face death, it's not that I don't fear death. I do fear death. But I've become more familiar with her dance. Her lovely, elegant dance. And I'm able to move and flow with her so that when the music is over, I can leave back to where I came from and not go home with her that night. Because many of us, I'm not sure, but I think when death comes around, they get so entranced in the dance, in her beauty, that by the end of the night, before the music has even finished, she pulls the man away and he's never seen ever again. It's easy to give up and let other things take us away. It's easy to let go of control, let go of that strength within you, and let death take you, seduce you. But not a warrior. There's something different about being a warrior. It's a quality that not many nowadays admire, but I don't care what they say. I'll always have a soft spot for this quality. Pride. That sense of value. That's what pride is. It's an honest, unrelenting sense of value. And I know a lot of warriors have that. That is not the main quality of what it is to be a warrior, but that is one of the beautiful qualities and attributes that a warrior does have. We have pride, we have a sense of value, we have a sense of worth. And when things tempt us, things allow us to become weaker. Not weaker, but when things allow us to lose our way and, lower our guard for a second, a true warrior knows in that instant, stand strong. Keep your shield up. Have your sword drawn. Because anything can happen at any moment. And don't ever give up. Unless there's a tactical retreat or something, that's different. But we're not here to talk about those tactics. Alright. So more about this inner spirit, this inner warrior. I believe all of us can tap into it. I believe all of us have some sort of warrior within them. It is within our DNA. I don't want to talk too much about, the genetics of traits that we all have within us. But I'm sure somewhere along in our ancestry, somewhere, even in, the more primitive times, or maybe even before the times of Homo sapiens and stuff, there were times where we had to be strong and fight. And whatever that quality or trait is inscribed in our DNA, I'm sure we can somehow tap into it when we need it. You've all heard about the fight or flight response. What was it? The 4 Fs? I like what I saw a joke on the internet about what it was. It was fight, flight, freeze, or fornicate. I'll use that word because it's more appropriate. Yeah. So when you want to be a warrior, one of those options is the one that a warrior tries his best to tap into, to use, which is the fight. Because it's not always those sudden moments where, oh crap, like I'm spooked out, I better react quickly. Sometimes, a lot of the time, being a warrior is actually just your everyday actions. And when through your everyday actions, your everyday behavior, you can respond in a way that is part of the fight. For example, I'm not going to buy that product. I'm going to buy this one because I stand by this one. And I don't stand by this. Even as something as mundane and as, simple as that, that too can be part of the warrior spirit. Those are the little exercises you use to exercise that spirit. And then, of course, there's more and more and more you do in your everyday life. Like physical exercise and that drive to try a little bit harder. Things like that. They're usually awesome ways to exercise spirit, or your fighting spirit. But warrior spirit, yeah, I should get more, how do I say this? I should break down more what the warrior spirit is. That's what we'll do today. So the warrior spirit. What does it mean to be a warrior today? A warrior today is not a common title or a common phrase that someone will find them dubbed by, or it's not a common thing that someone will be called. It's a very particular and special case to have someone be called a warrior or to be known as a warrior. Because first of all, well, at least here in the first world, and back home in the first world, I should say, conflict and violence are not something we are shown often. And so the need to be a warrior is a little, it's not as prominent. And so with less of that need, it's a less likely title anyone can get. But of course, when that title does come, it's usually in terms of some sort of circumstance where someone went and tried harder and didn't give up. And through their commitment and their dedication, they overcame a great struggle and achieved triumph over a great struggle. that is usually when we can call someone a warrior. Oh, did you see the way he played that night? The odds were against him, but he was a warrior and he did not give up. That's when we use a word like that. So if anything, it's an old, how do I say this? It's a testament to what those few individuals back a long time ago used to be called warriors. My apologies. Yeah, so it's not actually a normal thing. It's quite uncommon. It is uncommon. Because sadly, many out there, they don't find themselves fighting through the hardships. And when they do, they're usually not as acknowledged. So if anything, there are many warriors out there. They've just yet to meet that glory in front of everyone. But true warriors, when they see someone going through that struggle, just like when I was saying, when I see someone overcome their adversaries, we true warriors, we recognize our kinsmen and we salute them. We appreciate them. We show them acknowledgement. Sometimes it's something as simple as a nod. Sometimes it's a smile. Sometimes it's an embrace. And a lot of the time, it's a helping hand. That's how you'll notice someone who's more of a warrior. Those willing to offer themselves. Because one thing that a warrior needs, one thing that a warrior always, a quality they always have deep inside, is to join forces with their brethren or their kinsmen or their team or their army or their nation. With someone they relate to, they join forces and they help. And warriors help other warriors overcome struggles. Because in a sense, once you reach that level of inner strength and drive and emotion, you join a family. You join a family of elites that are the only ones who know how to tap into that. And I must say, it's a sweet feeling, but of course, you can't dwell in that comfort for too long, because when you are a warrior, you know the fight's never over, and you have to be strong again. But yeah, a warrior today. Yes, I said it was a rare thing. And it's about facing the adversaries that everyday life can give us. It's about going through and never giving up. But what does it take to be a warrior? I think the first thing it takes to be a warrior is for an individual to step and to begin to walk that road to inner growth and finding inner strength. That is how you eventually reach and hop onto the road to being a warrior. That first road of finding that inner strength within you. You know, we all go through different moments where we think to ourselves like, should I push myself a little bit harder. It's going to be uncomfortable, but should I? And then usually in those little debates in your head was like, comfort, discomfort, comfort, discomfort. That's usually the road to inner strength. And like I was saying before, sometimes we do get addicted to choosing the discomfort. It's not healthy, because another thing a warrior requires is wits, wisdom. You got to be smart. It's not about struggling. It's about finding the most efficient way to reach that victory. That's what it takes to be a warrior. Finding the best way to reach that victory. And trusting in yourself. I'm going to wrap it up, but I'm going to leave you with the main point that I do need to discuss further on in a later episode. But the main point of what it actually means to be a warrior. This is the main point that a lot of people may disagree with, but we have to understand what it means to be a warrior. A warrior has the word war. War is usually a stand, or it's a circumstance that arises when two parties, or three or more, a number of parties, do not all agree with each other. And so they engage in war. And war is to decide whose stance will be the one that is accepted. Whose stance will be the one that dominates. Whose stance is the one that everyone will have to accept. That is what war is. So to be a person of war, a warrior, it is for you to fight for what you stand for. That is what it means to be a warrior. But to be more specific and to be more clear on what it is to be a warrior, or at least I can give you a quality that a true warrior has. Whether you agree with this or not, this is what makes a true warrior. Devotion. Devotion is the main quality that a warrior needs. A warrior devotes themselves to something, whether it's a person, an idea, a place or a country, a way of life, a philosophy, a god. So long as the individual stands for that and commits themselves with their full devotion, they can consider themselves a warrior. Because without that devotion, without that stance and commitment to something, that is no warrior. That is either a very dangerous person, a very powerful person, or a beast, but not a warrior. A warrior is a man of war, a man who stands for something. That is the main quality of a warrior, devotion. Not everyone will agree, but we'll explore more next time about how devotion is what makes a true warrior. Because that devotion alone, whether someone has engaged on the road to find strength or not, just with that devotion alone, they can already be seen as a warrior. Because everyone will recognize what it is that they stood for. What it is that made them a warrior. Until next time, I'm signing out.